Shabbat Shalom, Kal Halal, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai Bahashim Wadash, double honors to the elder apostles and the elder bishops of Great Millstone, even the elders that came before them that taught us this truth. Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, and salutations to all the brothers out pushing the word of truth and in sincerity, the hopeful like tabernacle of David. And the elder Yashawan, back with another lesson. Lord willing, it's informative and edifying to the body. Sirach 5 and 15. Be not ignorant of anything in a great matter or a small. So, Trump begs China. Look at their head down. See? So this is what's coming out of the meeting. All right, we're waiting. It's been a couple of days now. What's slowly trickling out is that Trump was humiliated. Why is it slowly trickling out? Because the West is not allowing any news that is not favorable to them. They don't want that news coming out. So we have to wait until the truth trickles out via real channels on the internet. Because MAGA, right? What happened in China? Trump begging, head bowed, got clowned, dog walked, right? So, back to this one more time. Be not ignorant of anything in a great matter or small. You have to go looking for that information about it. So let's do a little bit of that and find out what happened over there, because it goes to, right? Was it about trade? Was it about, stopping the war? What happened over there? What did they talk about? What did they not talk about? What was on the table? What was not on the table? Did they talk about Taiwan? Was this guy threatened about it? Don't you fuck with Taiwan right now, Tyrone. You're looking bad out there. Trump is looking bad on the world stage. He had to go run. Hey, can you stop this thing? I fucked up. Right? So what's going on over there? I want to look at this. Open-minded thinker. Because the weak is saying that they're strong now. Xi is like this. Look, I'm running this shit, motherfucker. You're looking real bad out there. Right? Hiding your news. You're not telling anybody what's going on. The American people have no clue what's going on. All right, so we have to depend on shows like this. Fair use. I'm not that. Here we go. Take it.
Trump came to China talking like a man who still believed the world was waiting for him to dictate terms. But the images out of Beijing told a very different story. This was not the triumphant return of an American president bending China to his will. This was a strained, heavily choreographed visit by a weakened leader walking into the Great Hall of the People at a moment when Washington's pressure campaign across the world is running into hard limits.
US President Donald Trump arrived in Beijing on Wednesday evening for a state visit to China, greeted by Vice President Han Zhen during a welcome ceremony.
Now, Donald Trump has arrived in China on a two-day visit, the first official trip by a U.S. president for nearly a decade.
President Trump is in China. He touched down in Beijing earlier today ahead of that high-stakes summit with Chinese leader Xi Jinping.
Xi Jinping received him with ceremony, yes, but not with surrender. The Chinese side made the setting grand, disciplined, and unmistakably controlled. Trump landed in Beijing and was greeted at the airport by Vice President Han Zheng rather than Xi himself, before the formal welcome later at the Great Hall, where the honor guard, national anthems, and 21-gun salute created the appearance of respect, while Beijing kept the political rhythm firmly in its own hands. And that is what made the entire summit so revealing. Trump has spent years selling himself to his base as the one man who could bully China, humiliate Beijing, bring back American dominance, and make Xi Jinping bend. But when the cameras rolled, the language changed. Suddenly, Trump was praising Xi as a great leader, calling China a great country, speaking of tremendous respect, encouraging American business leaders to deepen cooperation, and presenting the meeting not as a confrontation, but as the biggest summit the world was watching. The contrast was almost painful. At home, MAGA politics feeds on loud threats, tariff theatrics, and fantasies of American supremacy. But in Beijing, with the war on Iran draining U.S. credibility, With the Strait of Hormuz crisis exposing Washington's limits,
with the truth of what is going on in the world that the Babylonians don't get to see. They think it's business as usual, and somehow Trump went over there from a position of power, which he did not. That dude is completely weak all over the world right now, except for right here in Babylon.
and with China positioned as a power that can still talk to Tehran, while Washington struggles to force outcomes, Trump sounded less like a commander of the world order, and more like a man trying to salvage face in front of a leader who knew exactly how weak his hand had become.
Weak. Let's just get those right now. Let's get Joel. There it is. Joel 3 and 10. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weakling say, I am strong. Okay? Let me get this other one real quick. I'm going to get it on the phone to save time. As weak as we. All together. Select it all together. As weak as we. Slovakia, Isaiah 14:10. Let me grab it up here. Isaiah 14:10 right here. Come on, you. Isaiah 14:10 in the King James. All they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou also become as weak as we? Art thou become like unto us? Manageable. We got you. We got you. We see that coming forth.
Before we go deeper into what really happened in Beijing, take a second to like this video, share it, and drop a comment below, even if it is just a dot. That small action helps push this report through the algorithm and make sure independent voices are not buried under the same polished MAGA narratives that always protect power when power fails. And subscribe to support honest journalism, because moments like this need to be documented.
And this is important. I mean, they're doing what is necessary for their channel. But guess what? With the way that this information is being controlled and you're not getting nothing near the real story, this is valuable. Valuable information. Let's read it again. If you're going to do this, be not ignorant of anything in a great matter or small. Guess what? Little channels like this, right? If this went away, where are we going to get somebody who challenges the status quo like that? So let him do his little sales and talk as, hey, he's on board.
Clearly, without fear.
And furthermore, the Most High is using channels like this for the brothers to come on and get the word out and give people the warning.
Journalism, because moments like this need to be documented clearly, without fear, without worshiping Washington, and without pretending that Trump walked into China from a position of strength when the whole world could see the opposite. The central drama of this visit was not just the handshake or the banquet or the carefully staged state ceremony. It was the imbalance beneath the theater. Xi Jinping entered the meeting with the posture of a leader whose country has weathered years of American pressure and still expanded its diplomatic room. Trump entered with noise baggage and a foreign policy crisis that has made every conversation more expensive for Washington. China did not need to shout. It did not need to insult him. It simply allowed the optics to speak. Formal hospitality on the surface, firm red lines underneath. The Iran factor made that contradiction even sharper. Washington's war has not produced the clean victory its architects imagined. Instead, it has exposed the vulnerability of American planning, when a regional power refuses to collapse under bombardment and pressure. The Strait of Hormuz crisis has reminded everyone that geography still matters, that military power has limits, and that Iran's military and political networks can impose costs in ways Washington cannot easily erase. Trump went to China carrying that burden. Xi received him knowing it. That is why Beijing did not have to openly mock him. The situation did the mocking.
If Xi Jinping wanted to help, he would have said, here's what I can do to help and here's what I'm going to do. When he says, I'll do whatever I can to help, that is diplomatic code for saying, I'm not going to get involved in any of this. This is your mess. You fix it. He is now establishing that I'm the big dog in this room and I'm putting down these markers.
I believe that she is just using the theatrics to make him look good in front of the Chinese media. But let's be real. If there's a big dog at any table, it's President Donald Trump. And no, let's be honest with ourselves. You might not like him, but you have to agree he is crazy and nobody wants to mess with him. And
I will mock. Okay. Call halal is 111. Or 1111. Slovakia. Those ones in there. Neo 1. Neo represented Yahusha. Anyway, let's see, what do we got? What am I doing? Yeah, they're laughing. I will laugh at your calamity. This is a calamity. I will L-A-G-S at your calamus, calamity Jane. Disaster. Proverbs 1 and 26. I also will laugh at your calamity. I will mock when your fear comes. NLT. So I will laugh when you are in trouble. I will mock when disaster overtakes you. These people know what is going on. They say, you're looking bad right now. Bitch, what did you just say? That's the most I laughing at this devil in his face.
But let's be real. If there's a big dog at any table, it's President Donald Trump. And no, let's be honest with ourselves. You might not like him, but you have to agree he is crazy and nobody wants to mess with him. And in a world full of crazies, you might just have to no, of course. First of all, our military capabilities has just been proven with.
Back to the news. What are they pushing? Pushing lies and deception and filibuster and fucking bloviating and bullshit and obfuscation. Name it.
We've interjected arguably in too many wars, and if there's one person who really is not in a place to be making demands, it's President Xi. So that's why I just believe it's all words. He's not going to do anything. I agree with the U.S.'s stance on the ambiguity when it comes to Taiwan. I also feel that they're choosing that way because I don't believe they actually think Xi will do anything. So why create unnecessary tension for no reason?
Donald Trump's own behavior has endangered Taiwan. Donald Trump has bombed 10 countries in 1 year. 8 of those 10 have fewer than 100 million population. 7 of that...
Comical. These clowns, the Trump administration, these Edomites are clowns right now. Okay? They're all a bunch of damn clowns. 2nd Ezra 9 and 3. In the G&T, there will be earthquakes, national rebellions, international intrigues, and clowns. Unstable leaders and confused rulers. When you see these things happening, you will know that they are what God Most High has spoken about since the beginning of creation. So we clearly see these things. We're clearly at the end.
Less than 50%. He's picking on small players. What does that message send to other big, powerful countries about?
Let the weak say I am.
Other countries that they may want to invade.
Exactly.
What does it say to Russia about Ukraine?
Why are you talking about all the ceasefires
I'm just saying.
You're focusing on
when you start the war, and then you stop it and call that a problem.
He's laughing.
Excuse me, none of the.
He's cold, laughing in her face. She's scrambling. What is she doing? Her fear. She's calamity, disaster over terror strikes you. I will mock the coming of your dread. She's dread. Her fear is coming. She's terrorized. She can't stand to be talked to like that. Sneer when your terror strikes you. All right? Make fun of you when terror fear comes, your dread, terror strikes, overtakes you. Okay? Panic. Right now, she's like, oh, do your job, bitch. Do your job. Talk back. Challenge that. There's nothing to challenge. You're getting cold laughed at. Mock. You're getting mocked. And they're laughing. They're rejoicing in the downfall. They see it. They're licking their chops. Laughing at this stupid bitch. Just shut up. Look at him. Look at her face. That's dread. Look at him. That's joy. Joy and pain. Right?
War started under Donald Trump. Besides
the 10 bombings started under Donald Trump.
Dropped the bomb every 27 minutes.
On 10 countries?
Hold on
a second. Emily, you don't know the answer to that question. That's what the problem is.
Okay, let me just
So a couple things. Joe, you've forgotten that Biden actually was routinely criticized for taking too tough a line on China and Taiwan. So the exact opposite of what you're saying.
What did he do after he was told?
Bingo.
Oh my God, you're totally missing the point. The point is that Donald Trump
has
told
me.
He said
Biden said don't.
No,
That's what he did.
Read the readout of what he said after he was
Joe,
told, I'm going to take over Taiwan.
Go to Google at home. You're just wrong
actually.
about
I pulled it up. I'll read it to you.
Well, then you should read a little deeper. Second thing,
It's
Trump
literally here on my phone. I'll read it
has
to you.
done a consistent yellow light on Taiwan since he flip-flopped on TikTok after getting a huge campaign donation to the 2024 campaign, which he believes helped him win election. Third, she is bringing him into sort of a strategic patience détente mindset, using rare earths as a way to sort of mollify the U.S. That is not a position of strength. He's got time on his side because he's a dictator for life. And Donald Trump has hurt America's strength in the region by alienating our allies and driving a lot of allies to China.
China having all the semiconductors. And that's from a selfish perspective.
When you say that Donald Trump is always the big dog in the room, right? So the Chinese government has basically said that the Iran war is an illegal war. Xi himself
she's in a place to talk about legalities.
Xi himself has said that it violates the rule of law, and it is probably.
Do you realize
Can you let me finish? Or do you have a problem with talking about people talking? Or
let's just let him finish, and then you can respond.
He's also said that it risks making this the international order into a law rule of the jungle. That was his phrase. The Pope didn't say anything like that, right? He had all the smoke for the Pope. But he has none for Xi Jinping. He's still trying to make him his friend. He is still saying things about the United States being in decline. He refuses to say anything negative about Xi because he's a bully. He knows the Pope can't do doesn't want to do anything. He doesn't have anything to offer him. But he can bully the Pope. But he can't bully Xi, and so he has nothing.
Do you think he should?
But you say he's the big dog in the room.
If Xi is saying there's a declining nation, it is most certainly not the United States.
Emily, let me ask you to respond to what he's saying, which is fundamentally.
And then there were the American business leaders, as Trump brought them along as symbols of power, but they also exposed another truth. Corporate America still wants China. For all the speeches about decoupling, for all the campaign theater about punishing Beijing, the biggest names in American capitalism still understand that China is not some isolated economy waiting to be broken by Washington. It is a manufacturing power, a consumer market, a technological competitor, and a diplomatic actor with global reach.
So what really happened over there? Okay. What really happened is you have to understand that the world order is changing. Iran is now in charge of the Strait of Hormuz, which they were not. Suddenly they're strong. They're from a position of strength. Who lost? The U.S. lost. And now, whatever's going on in China right now, China is operating from a position of strength, especially when it comes to Taiwan. Right? They're stronger now. Why? Because number one, Babylon is losing in the Middle East. That makes China stronger on Taiwan. It just does. They're bogged down over there. Hey, they're still over there in the middle of a war in Iran. China's not in the middle of a war with nobody. Okay? So China still has all their munitions while Babylon has none, and they need some rare earth from China to get some bombs to even fight. What's China going to do? Give them some bombs? Don't be stupid. What's going on over there?
When Trump encouraged American businesses to expand cooperation with China, he was effectively...
And that's a diversion. Now I'm gonna bring these business. Let's do some business. Don't bomb me and give me some rare earth. Let's do some business over here. No, nigga. Let's do some business right here. Let's do no business, and I am not giving you no rare earth.
What his own rhetoric tries to deny. America cannot simply walk away from China without hurting itself. Even the talk of agreements did not fully rescue the picture. Reports around Boeing orders, energy discussions, and agricultural deals gave Trump material to sell, but they did not transform the summit into an American victory. Take a listen.
Right, and I think those CEOs are useful and effective, actually, in that sense, because coming into this summit, I mean, we've spoken so much, haven't we, in recent days, and on the podcast last time, about the big geopolitical issues, Taiwan and Iran, and we will get on to talk about that, but actually we haven't paid as much attention to the trade and the business and the investment conversations, which actually I think for the two leaders were an enormously significant part of this, and is almost certainly where the progress is going to be. And it's still at the point of us recording, we haven't had all the details out yet about...
All right, so we're not going to watch this whole thing. So they're just going back and forth about who won and who didn't. Let's see, who won the handshake? Oh, wow, look at this. Let's get it. Lock in. It's petty.
The party started at China's Great Hall, right across the street from Tiananmen Square. Trump wasn't in a tank, he was in the Beast, and
Jake
pulled
likes
up to shake hands with Xi. And it was a long shake, 15 seconds. Some friendly patting. Both men stood still. No one leaned in.
Xi is winning.
Who won? Some call it a draw, but Xi did release first. And then Trump hit him with a little pat in the back. Body language experts say that was a power move. The fashion police noticed that POTUS rocked a red tie, which experts say aligned visually with the dominant ceremonial palette of China. Xi wore a purple tie to evoke the symbolism of the purple forbidden city, the center of Chinese power. Didn't see a lot of hostility. Diplomats on the ground actually say there was a lot of chemistry. Xi, who tends to be more reserved in public, put on a show.
This is water.
Not between Xi and Trump, but between Secret Service and the Chinese police. They say it was a Chinese version of a Mexican standoff, a Chexican standoff.
So, when we look at this summit honestly, the story is not that Trump conquered Beijing. The story is that Trump arrived in Beijing needing a reset, needing cooperation, needing optics, and needing a way out of the pressure created by his own foreign policy failures. Xi gave him ceremony, but not surrender. China gave him conversation, but not obedience. And the world saw a U.S. president who had talked for years about crushing China, now praising China's leader, encouraging American companies to deepen ties, and trying to look victorious in a room where the strategic advantage had clearly shifted. Thank you for watching.
All right, so everyone laughed. More laughing. What is that? Everyone laughed at the orange man. Slovakia. Everyone laughed at the orange clown. LOL. Okay, and that's where we're at. We're laughing at the orange clown. So anyway, let's go back here real quick. Not laughing, but I want to get all together as weak. Become like us. Okay? They will all respond. This is Isaiah 14:10 again. They will all respond. They will say to you, you also have become weak as we are. You have become like us. That's what Xi is saying. Look, you're no longer scary. You're not a scary dude no more. Okay? Your witchcraft doesn't work. Stand now with your witchcraft. Maybe you can scare someone. You're not scaring me. Contemporary CEV. Each one of them will say, now you are just as weak as any of us. That's what being said. Right? All right, so with that, I'm going to go ahead and close with we pray that the elect ratified you, brothers and sisters. Shabbat shalom.